All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another DC Worlds Collide video. This is Mr. Squirrel, as always. Glad to have you here. So, I wanted to talk about team synergies because there's been a lot of conversations recently I've been seeing on the Discord, on my Discord, on the official Discord, the unofficial Discord, on the Reddit, talking about like team synergies and the ways this game is kind of operating with team synergies, especially with the release of Aquaman. Now, I'm going to make two videos on this. I want to talk the first one about all team synergies, and the second video is going to be talking about the top 5. They're going to come out relatively close to each other. This is simply because I do want to talk about these in relation to each other. I think this is a really important topic we talk about just in general is team synergies. And so rather than ranking team synergies, I want to talk about team synergies in relationship to the characters that are on them. And I think a lot of times we talk about these characters, for instance, in a vacuum, right? And I'm going to use an example here of starting off with maybe the not so great, because it does kind of, or, a good example is going to be Poison Ivy. The reason I'm going to start with Poison Ivy is because she is the Poison Synergy team synergy. Now, Poison Synergy, essentially what it does is at max rank, you essentially, when someone has 10 stacks of poison on them, they can't heal. That's pretty good. I actually think that can be very problematic. For teams that debuff, it might be a little bit more tricky, but besides the point, like in PvE content, that could be very good because you could there are some stages where you just time it out because they're healing so much. Like you see Kid Flash and you're like, but here's the issue with this team. It's a good synergy, but we have an issue is that we don't have poison characters. We've got Penguin and Scarecrow, right? But, lo and behold, maybe a Joker comes out down the line, and he, like we saw with we'll talk about it later, is going to be Aquaman, and how he kind of like really made the sacrifice team way better. The same thing could very easily happen with like a Joker character, right? But this is an example that I want to use to talk about these synergies, because I think some of these synergies on paper might not seem great, but when you start pairing them with other characters, and the characters can make them very good. But some synergies are just by far and away, like the synergy itself is just amazing. And there's one that I really want to start with because I think it started in the game when Global was released. It was there. And I think this has been kind of the staple, a most amazing team in the game since the game released on Global, like bar none. And let's start with Block. And I want to start with Block because Block is, the synergy itself is absolutely cracked. The synergy essentially makes it so that you get attack every time someone blocks, every 3 blocks by the whole team, up to 30%. So your team just naturally will increase their attack by 30%. And then at rank 10, they heal. And then on top of it, you have some of the best tanks in the game. And then you just slot in just really good DPS, and it just works with one of the best supports in the game in Ocean Master. And it's just like, you don't really even need to run healing at rank 10 because you're healing so much from just blocking. And so the thing is about this team is that while the characters on it they're like, Nightwing is just straight up one of the best tanks in the game, it's also compounded on the fact that the synergy itself is just such a good synergy. Now, again, we'll go through these in order. And so another one I really want to talk about is, so we'll see like good synergy, but like an OP characters. So this one, this one's gonna be a little tricky. Well, not tricky. I'm just gonna say this, and I've been so the thing is about Sinestro is that I think there are very good characters on that team, and I think it's very flexible, but I don't think the synergy itself is anything super duper crazy. I know it's 15% increased damage, and you have a chance to, I hate chance, by the way, as everybody knows, 50-50, like, but the thing with it, it's a good synergy, very, very general. There's just really good characters on it. Like Sinestro is amazing. Grodd, amazing. We know Bizarro's already good, but he's going to get a buff. Like, it's very flexible. You can throw a ton of characters on it. It just works. It does its thing, right? But the synergy, excuse me, itself is not OP. It's not an OP synergy. It's just kind of the characters on it make it OP. Does that make sense? And then there's like, let's look at this OP synergy plus it's the kind of the inverse of this, where the synergy itself is insanely amazing, but we don't have the characters are just good. They're not anything absolutely crazy bonkers. Now, right now, this could be a hot take, but I think that's actually Judo Master. I think Vigilante's good, but I think Peacemaker's kind of lacking, right? And I don't think they have strong tanks for the front line right now, and they need 2 anti-heroes. I don't think the anti-heroes are the most amazing thing right now. We also know they're about to get buffs. So this synergy could potentially change very soon, right? But that in the Brotherhood, the Brother Eye update, right? But the thing is this synergy is actually OP. Like, you're giving hard hit left and right. And that's like increasing damage. It's really good. And Judo Master himself, very good. Judo Master is actually a crazy DPS. But the team isn't as OP as the synergy itself. So therefore, this team kind of struggles a little bit in the sense that, like, I think this team will become way better when we get better anti-heroes, or the anti-heroes like the Creature Commandos get buffs. Now, good synergy plus character, that means just it's all around, it's good. Now, this may be a hot take, but I'm going to just go with Green Arrow. I think it is a good synergy. I think it's a very good synergy. And I think the characters are overall very good. It's good. It's good. I just don't think any part of it's OP right now. Is Wonder Woman very amazing? Yes, but she falls off. Guys, like, I know people are going to be like, how could you put Wonder Woman so, like, on my last tier list? And I'm like, because, like, she does fall off. I'm in the 40s now, and, you know, Wonder Woman does not do the same thing she's doing in the 10s, the 20s, and even the early 30s. She just doesn't have the same level of sustained damage, especially when you start hitting high, like, HP bosses. She just can't whittle them down really fast. And so you kind of run into this relative issue with that. And she's kind of like the main damage dealer on this team. Same thing with Green Arrow. The other issue with this team, it's all AoE based. Again, you're going to struggle with bosses. There's a lot of bosses in this game, so you're going to struggle with that. There's 2 synergies I also want to talk about that are very well. There's a few I do want to bring into this idea of meh, that I'm going to get them out of the way like right now. And then this one. Weasel's an interesting one. I'm going to leave him in the meh right now. It's because his synergy does nothing for the team. It's like him and one front row ally. I think overall it's good. It makes him and the front row ally pretty good, but it's very meh. But again, they could buff it and it could become crazy. So we'll see what happens with him. These 2 is just like a time-based thing or back row. They're very meh. Like, I would really not recommend building either of these synergies. I'm not saying don't build the character. I'm just saying the synergy itself is not something I would revolve any building around. It's just meh right now. Okay. I'm going to work my way up to the OP. I'd rather work up versus down and then give the answers away. So one thing with good synergy but needs better characters. I'm actually going to put this. Now, hot take here. I know, actually, you know what? Meh, I'm going to also put Kid Flash. His tier 3 synergy is very meh. Sorry, I need to put that there. Okay, let's talk about Supergirl first. Supergirl. Now, why did I put her here? Even though Aquaman is there, and now Mara's on the team. Because that leaves you with 3. There's no DPS right now. I know Green Arrow does a little bit, but there's no DPS. And overall, it is a good synergy, but we need a DPS. This will change though. Once we get Killer Frost, this team, I guarantee you she'll probably skyrocket up. I'm just saying, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think overall, this is just, we need like 1 or 2 more pieces of that puzzle, and then we're good to go. And the team is set to become something very strong. Like I'm outright. I'm probably when there's a featured banner with her on it, I am totally gonna pick her up because I do just so I can run the Frostbite team. I am very curious about that. And I actually am a little curious in the sense that it may be even better than the Sacrifice team. But we'll talk about that later, just because I think a lot of interesting things can happen in the very near future with these teams. But we'll talk. That's neither here nor there. I just want to emphasize that point. Okay, Bleed. I think it's an okay synergy. I don't know if I would... it's good. We do have some decent characters, but there's not really a lot of bleed in this. I mean, there is a lot of bleed. I mean, you also have one of the best DPS in the game, but there's not a lot of synergy going on with it. And I mean, there's this like whole thing with like lower HP auto critting. This is an interesting character because I don't know if I think the synergy itself is like anything super duper crazy. I just think we need better characters right now. Vixen buff could really help this team. The problem with Bleed right now, to be very quite frank, it's actually a block problem. Is that block is honestly just better than this. I think Bleed really struggles with the fact that block is mostly bleed based and it is just doing what bleed does, but way better and tankier and HP'er and help. And it is overall just, it does what it's doing, but better. I actually, maybe to be quite honest with you, because of block, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to put it in Met. It's because of block that I feel like this synergy is just not that great because you're running pretty much the same characters on this team. It's just a better team. Right. And so therefore it negates the need for this team because why am I going to run this? And even at tier 3, it just doesn't compare like at all. And I don't know how that's ever going to change, especially because Ocean Master is the leader of that team and he's very much weak and bleed based. I'd rather just run his team. Why run Two-Face's team when I can just run block and do the same thing, but better? That's my general thought consensus on that one. Now, the next team I'm going to talk a little bit about, well, let's actually keep going with this. And this is going to be Batman. I think Batman actually has a pretty decent team synergy. It's just, we need better single target. I also think Batman himself is very good. He's very underrated and I think the community knows how good he is. He's very good. So much damage. His team synergy is lacking. We're lacking really good single target right now. Yeah. There are good characters. It's just we're lacking. This is just lacking and needs better. It needs more characters to kind of make it work. Yeah, I think that's where I would put this right now. The next team I want to talk about is and I think that kind of moves out of this category a little bit, is I'm going to put Lex in good synergy and good characters. I think they're just good. They're good. They're good. I don't really have anything else to say. His synergy is good. I wouldn't say it's OP. I wouldn't say it's, horrible. It's good. It does the job. Actually, it might have gotten a little bit of a buff now in PvP because of the Sacrifice team becoming very meta. So I will say that. Now, what's interesting here is I'm like looking at this tier list, and I don't think there's any more OP synergies right now, plus good characters. That's kind of like a one in unique scenario. The next team I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about this one because this one's, I'm actually going to put this, the more I think about it. Here's the thing about the Burn team. There's a better version of it, which is kind of a difficult situation. The Burn itself is good. It negates a lot of block, so it counters block. But the thing with Burn is that you've got DCU Superman, who is one of the best characters in the game, right? But then besides him, you're not really running anything super crazy OP. It's really him getting buffed is what made this team feasible. But the team itself is not doing anything outstandingly crazy. I think it's the reason I say good synergy plus good characters instead of good synergy and OP characters is because there's one really good character on that team, and the rest are like, they're okay, they're good, but it's one character. And am I really going to put that and make that a good synergy plus OP characters? No, I can't do that. Just because it's not working that way. If maybe it had multiple characters that were OP, then maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I have been playtesting this for a while, and I'm going to say this next one is it is a good synergy, but it has OP characters. And that is honestly the Sacrifice team. This team is very good, not because of the synergy itself, but because of the characters on the synergy. I actually think this synergy could use a buff. I do like her her rank 3 because it's, and you'll see a video before this that it is removing a lot of debuffs. That's very good with the amount of healing it's doing, and then you have the save with the 12% HP. I just wish that HP save was a little bit higher. I think 12% is kind of low. I think they could bump that up to 20, and no one would be complaining. And Pandora herself is very good. I think the thing with the synergy is it's kind of just carried by the characters. Like Aquaman is legit top 3 best characters in the game. Mara with Aquaman becomes insane. You now have Constantine and Pandora and Dr. Fate, who all make the synergy amazing. I mean, Dr. Fate now with her synergy, his ult becomes a legitimately does with Aquaman. It legitimately doesn't really hurt your team, except now it's a cleanse. Like his ult is a cleanse. What? Like, and it does damage. It's a cleanse. It's literally just an OP version of, well, not fully OP version of Mr. T's, because Mr. T fully removes debuffs, but this is carried. This synergy is 100% carried by the team, by the characters on the team, not the synergy itself. This is not a scenario where you have like some good characters, but once we get better characters like the Judo Master team, where I guarantee you his team will become way nuttier the second we get some better characters. The second they buff up the creature commandos, I'm curious to see what happens to his team, because I think that because he himself is, I actually am very scared when I see a well-built Judo Master. It is truly frightening. He is very scary. He has legitimately just like demolished some of my characters. It's truly slightly frightening what he can do. And this is going to bring the last team, and I talk about this team all the time. But that's going to be the Mr. T team. And the reason his team is so good is because of the characters, not only the characters on it, but the synergy itself. You are getting so much damage, so much defense, so much lifesteal with sustain, and cleanses, and because of the characters on it, and so much healing on this team, that when it's like the block team and the Mr. T team kind of exist in a realm of their own, in that, again, I will say the team that I'm going to just be honest with you is let's wait and see what happens to Frostbite. I'm very curious about Frostbite. With Killer Frost and Aquaman, we'll see. This might turn into a way up here kind of situation, right? We don't know. But my point is, coming back to Mr. T, is that like the synergy turns like let's talk about DCU Superman, Hal Jordan. Both of them are good characters, but when you put them on this team, they become OP characters because of the amount of defense, sustainability, and damage they are getting. They become like Superman's basic is truly frightening. Even when I have him at max, just HP percentage base character, he still hits so hard, right? Even though it's physical damage, he's just getting so much defense. But Hal Jordan, y'all, that man will one-shot a team, like on his, because I use the baseball bat thing on him, and his second ult, legitimately, even when there's like a 1 mil deficit, 1 to 2 mil deficit, he's almost like one-shotting the entire enemy team. It is because of that 50% superpower damage, and then on top of all the healing, they're sustaining with all the defense. Like the team is just, it's not only is it difficult to kill, it is also, it's an onslaught of a team, right? And one of the things is it's very fast, which makes it very good for a lot of content. It's good for slow content because it'll just burst through it. It's good for fast content because it'll just burst through it. that's now the one thing that the caveat to the block team is it's kind of slow. It takes time to build up. Mr. T team is online, ready to go round one. That is a difference here. Now block picks up quickly and becomes very strong, very fast, and then becomes very scary. But Mr. T is good right from round one. Actually, it's strongest from round 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to say this. This is, I think when I look at the synergy right now, this team synergy kind of like overview of the team synergies and where they kind of rank right now, I actually really like this list because I think it gives players context. I'm going to say this. The notable ones here, Pandora's is good right now because of Aquaman. I think there will potentially be a transition to the like, I'm wondering if there's going to be almost like a sacrifice / Frostbite kind of team coming up in the near future. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm kind of curious about like a Constantine / Frostbite with Killer Frost, because then you're just doing a ton of it, like so much like strong attack, and then you have tons of healing with recuperate. It could be very interesting with, and then with her, you're giving healing, and then we'll see. I don't know. Maybe her team synergy doesn't end up being that great. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. Judo Master, we need to see what they do with the Creature Commandos and the Brother Eye update. I mean, this could very easily fly up because, you know, pretty much his team can essentially just murk one of your characters when they ult the first time. And I mean, let's not underrate that. Again, we got to remember he is doing insane levels of damage. That team needs something that is like a unit, like it needs tankiness. I do think there's going to be something potentially with him and Lex Luthor. I think Lex Luthor could probably potentially do some very interesting stuff on his team just because it's giving all those shields. We'll see. I don't know. This is me spitballing. But again, we'll come back to this. I mean, these two are the best teams in the game, Block and Mr. T. I think, again, Sinestro's team is very good, but it's carried by its characters. Pandora, same thing. Judo Master, we'll see what happens. The rest of this just kind of makes sense where it's placing. I do like this overall structure. The more I look at this, I am happy with this. Again, whenever people are like, what should I build? Honestly, free to play, Mr. T is very hard to kind of build up. It's you go Pandora with Aquaman and then Ocean Master right now. Though Block and Pandora with Aquaman, you're like, you have two amazing teams that'll carry you through like 99% of the game. That's what I would go with right now if you were to ask me. The rest of these teams need specific things, but overall, I like this list. I think it's good. Look forward to hearing from your feedback, ladies and gents. And as always, remember, failing is just your first attempt in learning.